Welcome, everyone. Episode 30 of Round 14 podcast. How's everybody doing? I hope you're doing well. Can't really ask that question and expect an answer, can I? It's kind of weird. Um, Still adjusting to being by myself, so it's a little odd. I know I said I had my daughter Sophia do this episode with me, but she had to get stuck doing some college work. I shouldn't say stuck, that's why she's there. But so she's going to do another episode with me next week. So I will not be discussing the underdog theme that she was going to talk about on the episode. And she also wants to be a part of doing the Marvel Avengers Campus episode. So since she's the Marvel guru, I got to definitely let her be here for that. So we will be discussing a bunch of little stuff, and then I will also talk about the San Diego trip that we took when we went down there to see the Top Gun sites and experience that. And maybe talk about the movie a little bit as well. So let's see. We'll start off with a little Sly. Thank you for following us again. I see that he's been liking some of the Instagram posts, which is always a cool thing. And what's really cool about it is that he doesn't just hit like. He literally picks and chooses what he likes on our posts. So it's kind of cool to see that certain ones stand out a little more than others. So that's pretty neat. But I thank you again for following us, and I hope you're still watching the podcast, and hope you're enjoying it, and I hope everybody's enjoying it. Obviously, it's a little different when you have somebody of his stature following you, but that doesn't downsize or downgrade anybody that's following and watching the show. I appreciate any and all of you. That was the one thing out in California when I went to meet him that was pretty cool, was that there were people there, and I'm not really even sure where they were from, but they recognized me from the podcast and they said they like the show. They appreciate what I do on the show. So that's pretty fun to hear that I really am impacting people, I guess. I'm not really sure. I did get quite a few messages and posts and comments thanking me to continue to do the show, even though it's a different way of doing it. Some people were thanking me that I didn't give it up and not do it, so that was nice to hear, and I'm glad I made some people happy with that. I do really appreciate all of you that watch the show. I don't care who you are, how long you've been watching it. I know that there's a nice core group out there that kind of support each other in the Rocky Land, and I truly appreciate them, of course. But I thank any and all of you for watching the show and being a part of it. It's what makes me want to do it. So that's very cool. Let's see what else. I have the Vail trip coming up. Vail, Colorado's coming up on Friday. Last year I went there and I went to try to do the Rocky run up the hill there and almost died. So that was cool. The oxygen level at 11,000, 12,000 feet is definitely I tell you, I give him credit. I don't know what the elevation was where he was in Jackson Hole. And speaking of Jackson Hole, if you haven't watched on YouTube, there's a short little documentary that Derek Wayne Johnson's involved with that is called the Run the Rocky Mountain. And the Rocky Four Mountain, they went to find each and every spot. They took pictures and they held them up and they looked at the concave of the land and stuff. It was very cool. It's pretty short, which is this episode's going to be pretty short, so I really shouldn't comment. But it's a good view. It's a good watch. It's like 30 minutes long, I think. It was very cool to see what they did. So if you haven't seen it, I'd highly recommend going to watch it. So yeah, I'll be going up there to Vail again this year. I was trying to get, my wife laughed at me. I was trying to get the Rocky Four figure. I got figures behind me. I don't know if you can see them on the shelf there. But I was trying to get the Rocky Four figure when he had the jacket and the hat on when he did his training run. I was going to bring it up to Vail and reenact it with him instead of me, since I couldn't do it. And that's when she questioned our marriage. Not really. But what else going on? So like I said, Sophia will be helping us out with the next couple episodes. I have a very special guest co-host that will be joining me, hopefully for more than one. I think he's going to add a lot to the show, and we'll see how many he'd like to do. Do 2 or 3, do 5 or 6, do 1 or 2. whatever he like. And I'm sure it'll be a fun time for all of us. So that's cool that that's coming up. So let's see. Okay, so the Top Gun location. So we went to the Top Gun house, which is in Oceanside, California. And that is the house that Charlie uh, asked Maverick to come over for dinner. And it's situated where it was, and it's still in the same condition. Well, not condition, still in the same house. They didn't do anything to it. It's a funny because there's a big hotel that just completely like wraps around the house. But it's pretty cool. It's a little pie shop. You go in there, you can get coffee and pie, and there's of course Maverick posters and Iceman posters and things of that nature. And the one alcohol drink they have is called Buzz the Tower, so it's fun. But it's a cute little cottage that definitely is on the list of where you want to go to see any of your locations if you're going to go follow Top Gun locations, which I think is pretty cool because I mean, as a Rocky fan, you go to Philadelphia and you got your cream of the crop. I mean, you got your statue, you got the steps. You could venture out and go to Mickey's, so forth and so on. Most of you that are watching this show know of Mike Kunda's tour, Yo Philly Rocky Film Tour, and he shows you all of them. And there's a lot to see in that short period of time. Well, with other locations, it's a little different. It's not as easy as the Philly one, which was based on basically them not having film permits and kind of running them on the fly and so forth. And so, plus, you had to do it in Philly. Well, this one here, Top Gun takes place mostly in San Diego, Coronado, which is Fightertown, USA, they call it. The Navy Air Station is there. So let's see, we'll put that up there. There's the Naval Air Station, North Island. And that's what kind of put it on the map. So they go there to film that. But that house is in Oceanside, California, which is an hour north. So I'm not really sure how they found that house and used and wanted to finish thing. It's pretty cool that they did. What else is out for? Oh, the motorcycle, an exact replica of the film bike that Maverick drove, is out front of the pie house. So that's pretty cool. You can take some pictures on there. And then, of course, the sign says the Top Gun house. And we got there pretty early. They didn't open until 11. And we got there relatively early so we could take pictures without people in the background. So that was fun. But as I was saying, so the rest of it is in San Diego, Coronado. You go over that big bridge, and KC barbecue we went to have, which was actually very good food. I was surprised. So that's where that is, and that's where the world famous piano scene is in that bar, Great Balls of Fire. So that was fun. And inside that bar, it's a small little place, not big. If you watch the movie again, you'll see it's not very large. They have a jukebox, and it's pretty funny because everybody's on the jukebox. You know, you could play it. It's not like it's pre-programmed. All you hear is, Great Balls of Fire and You Lost the Love and Feeling and Danger Zone. And I'm surprised that the owner even has those on the jukebox. Probably drives him crazy. But I mean, come on, what else are you going to play? Of course you're going to play those songs. So it was cool to see that. From what I was read on the menu, it's pretty cool. There's a little story about the cottage. And from what I read on there, Tom Cruise was filming a scene with Kelly McGinnis, Charlie, across the street on the dock where they were on the motorcycle together, and they started kissing. And after that scene, he was hungry, so he went across the street to go to Kansas City Barbecue and get something to eat and have a beer. And he loved the place. He loved the vibe of it. He loved how real it was. It was a real Navy bar. There was almost no, you didn't need to do anything to it. It was all set up. So he loved it. And of course, they capitalize on it by having things like this and selling shirts and hats and whatnot. So that's fun. But it was a good place, fun time to be. We couldn't go inside the naval base, obviously, for obvious reasons. But to see the front of it was pretty cool. The North Island, and that North Island has a lot more of a storyline for Maverick than it does for Top Gun. Top Gun, they touch base on it. They say Fightertown, USA, but North Island, where that's definitely more of a Maverick location. And that bar in Maverick, it was built for the movie. It was built on the beach for the movie. The Navy gave them permission to build that bar. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, comparing the movies, I mean, if you look at Top Gun and you look at Maverick, I love the similarities they have. I also love the shout out that they have to Top Gun, be it maybe Maverick flirting with Charlie in the bar in the first one, and then seeing that she's his instructor the next morning. Same thing happened to Hangman. You know, he goes and tosses out Maverick on his butt, and then he sees he's the instructor the next morning. Hangman is definitely the new Maverick. I mean, he's got that cocky attitude, how good he is, and he is good. You know, he's good at what he does. He's a good-looking kid. So I mean, he's thinks he's unstoppable, as Maverick did. So Penny Benjamin's character, I love how they interjected that, and they made her a bigger part of it, and a bigger part of Maverick growing up, basically. I love the scene where the little daughter says, "Don't break her heart again." Then there's also some sad scenes where Goose says, "My father trusted you. I won't make that same mistake." You know how deep that hurts Maverick. Goose was everything to Maverick. Goose was Maverick's only family, and when he died, a part of Maverick died, and that's hard to overcome. And the son probably never would forgive him. So the film really ventures into that, which is pretty cool. The Maverick movie did not bring back Tom Skerritt, who played Viper, Viper, which I was a little surprised that he did have some kind of scene in it. Anything, a little advice scene, something, you know, "Hey, I haven't heard from you, Maverick. How you doing?" or something. I don't know, any type of acknowledgement. I was pretty surprised by that. And then also too, the other officer in the beginning who sent him to Top Gun, and if he messed it up, he'd be flying a cargo plane. He wasn't in it either. Obviously, Kelly McGillis wasn't in it, and nor should she have been, because I mean, Maverick would have never upheld that relationship. He was too much about himself. So he might have did it for a year or two after, if that, and then he was all about him and the Navy and flying. That was him. That was all he cared about. That's why the relationship with Penny Benjamin was so cool. So yeah. Oh, and it was nominated for an Academy Award, Best Picture. How cool is that? You know, you don't often get a film of that caliber, an action film, to be nominated for a Best Picture. So that's pretty neat that happened. So yeah, that was a good time. If you are a huge Top Gun fan, I highly recommend going out to San Diego and checking out the sites. We went down there for a day and checked out everything that we wanted to check out. Of course, I do wish we could have gone on the Navy base. That's obviously not very possible if you're not a part of the Navy or part of the military, but it would have been pretty cool to do that. Outside of that, though, we saw everything there was to see. We'll talk about the Marvel Avengers and all the other places we went to later on another episode. Like I said, I definitely want Sophia part of that episode because she is the Marvel guru. Oh, my goodness. Me, Rocky, her, Marvel. Didn't mean that sound like a caveman, but that's the way it is. So that's about it, man. It's going to be a little transitional to try and work out the kinks with this, especially being solo, and not go back and forth with somebody and feed off of what they're saying, or even have banter or something going there. So it's going to be a little different if I am solo. That's why I am trying to work on some co-hosts, guest co-hosts. I know, some people that want to do it with me, and we're going to have a good time. And that's really all this is about, is having fun. When I met John Rivoli out in California, finally met him. Thank you. He asked me how I was going with the podcast. I said, man, I'm just doing it for fun. Slide follows it. You follow it. There's a handful of people that I, am Instagram friends with, that I know that follow it. So I'm happy for all you guys watching this. So it's a fun time. So yeah, that's about it. I'm also still on, just so you guys are aware, I'm still on some other broadcasting podcasts, which would be the last of the Action Heroes Podcast Network, which is an audio podcast. So if you do want to listen on the ride home or whatever it may be that you couldn't catch us live on YouTube and maybe you don't want to see my ugly face, I can't blame you. But Ryan also has a lot of podcasts on there, all Stallone, all Bruce Willis, all Schwarzenegger, all action, all Rocky. There's a lot of really cool stuff and a lot of good stuff. And check it out, please. Not even for my own podcast, but check it out for the others. They got some really good stuff. Obviously, we're on Instagram. Check out the page. We post a lot of Rocky, a lot of motivational action heroes, all the above, comic books, the fun stuff, man. There's enough crap in life, life ain't all sunshine and rainbows. Obviously, you're watching us on YouTube, so we're available there. And we are on Spotify as well, which again is another audio for that. Let's see. Let me get rid of that post there. Hide it. Okay. And we're also, I have my own page on Instagram, Stallion22 Tony. I post 99% Rocky. Outside of that, it's, if I do a trip or if I go somewhere or do something, I'll put that on there as well. But for the most part, it's Rocky. It's motivational. That's why I started it, to be honest with you. I started that page to hopefully meet Sylvester Stallone one day. I'm not a social media person. I'm not one that's on there all the time. This is all foreign to me. That's just not who I am. But it got me to meet a lot of rockheads that I never would have met before. So it's pretty cool to see that there's a bunch of people out there that are just psychotic about Rocky as I am. So that's cool. Also, he's liked some of my posts on my page. He's liked around 14 posts. So it's cool. You do have a little bit of a connection to him. It's brief and it's not, he's not messaging me, but it's kind of cool that he's actually watching it and liking certain things that is out there. So yeah, check out my page as well. I'd appreciate it. Other than that, I think I'm going to wrap this up. I know it's short. It's only not even 20 minutes. It's going to take me a little while to get longer episodes if I'm solo. I just need more content or more talking, but it's kind of tough to talk where I can't bounce something off of somebody. So I apologize if this might have been a little off. I hope you enjoyed what I did talk about, and hope you tune in next week. You'll be discussing The Underdog with my daughter, Sophia. She has to do a paper on The Underdog. That was a subject she chose. It wasn't the subject that was all the class has to do. She chose The Underdog, and they asked to do an American icon type of thing where they did the soldier and the housewife and the blue collar man and the working man and the working woman and the nurse and the doctor and all these things of that nature. So she chose The Underdog, which that's my daughter. So anyway, so we'll be talking about that with her next week. Hopefully. We're going to try and record that this week when she has some time, and I'll post it next week. So like I said, I hope you enjoyed this. It's going to take a little bit to get going and work out some kinks, but have some patience. I promise you it'll be worth it. I thank you for watching. I thank you for supporting. I thank you for all your kind words, and I will see you next week. Thank you. Have a good night.